Hello and welcome back to the Bourbon Bar. I'm Holden and today we're going to be reviewing the newest release of Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Batch A122. Let's get right into it. This is ECBP A122, and for those of you who don't know, quick recap. A means it's the first release of the season, 1 means that it's coming out in January as a month, and 22 stands for 2022. So this is the first release of this year coming out this month, and I got my hands on a bottle at retail. I think it was about $70. Great deal at my local festival. I did open it up last night to get some air in it and get a little bit of tasting notes to myself just so I would know, have some time to really sit with the whiskey. But I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a review of it. That being said, it's time to fill the glass with this delicious juice. So, this ECBP is 120.8 proof, which comes in at 60.4% alcohol. Not one of the hottest ones we've seen. I know all last year they were relatively low in that 120s, though I think the lowest being 118. And a lot of people are pissed about it. A lot of people wanted those 130s and even broke into the 140s, I think, at one point. But honestly, it doesn't bother me. I am a proof hound. I do like my cask strength stuff, but it doesn't need to be high proof for me to enjoy it. I think that just being full bodied and full of flavor that you normally get from cask strength is something more important than the whole proofing. And I think it has a lot to do with how much water is in it. And yes, the higher proof stuff does technically have less water, but as long as it's the full bodied experience and not cut at any form, I still think it's going to be great whiskey. That being said, we're going to go ahead and get right into this. Okay, so right away on the nose, it honestly smells kind of like Elijah Craig. I mean, right down the middle, Heaven Hill. There's a little bit of peanut dust to it. The oak is definitely there, like a musty oak. A little bit of sweet fruitiness, but not overpowering. There's a little bit of that leather note. It really is eerily similar to Elijah Craig. And I know that these batches differ from batch to batch, and as they should. But this one is right down home plate, I think, on the nose anyway. If you guys are a fan of Elijah Craig, normal Elijah Craig, you'd be probably a fan of this one on the nose. Lots of caramel in there. Oak is the oak spice. Smells a little hot, but not too aggressive. It's only 120 proof. Lots of that good caramel sweetness, oakiness. Slight baking spice, but not a whole lot. Maybe just a little bit of nutmeg in there. That peanut dust is really prevalent. That Heaven Hill profile is just in this glass. Later in the video, I'm gonna have to compare it to the normal Elijah Craig just to see a difference here. But let's go and get a palate. Honestly, it's Elijah Craig at a higher proof. Take that Elijah Craig, take all the flavors and just put it together, bring it up in proof. It's a little bit hot, a little spicy on the palate. There's a little bit of a leathery, maybe a tobacco-y note in there. That caramel comes through on the palate too a lot. It's not overly oaky the way batch C921 was, but it is a little bit sweet, but not overly sweet. So I don't think it's as sweet as that C921 was. And a lot of people didn't think C921 was sweet, but with a little bit of air, it turned into something chocolatey and oaky, and it had a different kind of sweetness to it. And this is definitely way different than that. This has a little bit more fruity caramel, but the oak spice is definitely there. It's a little bit hot on the palate. Nice Kentucky hug on the way down that I still feel. Yeah. Quite a nice long finish on this one. All the flavors being that Heaven Hill profile that everyone knows and loves. If you love Heaven Hill, you're gonna like this. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. Also, if you guys haven't noticed, peep my new shirt. My beautiful girlfriend made this for me as a Christmas present. So, if you guys like that, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel while you're down there. Anyway, I'm gonna break out the Elijah Craig 94 proof, their small batch, and I'm gonna do a little bit of a side-by-side comparison. So, that being said, I'm gonna need a Glencairn too, and we're gonna get a little bit of a pour in here. So, as we know, the ECBP is 12 years old, 120.8 proof. This is batch A from this year, and in this hand I have the Elijah Craig small batch. It's 94 proof. I think usually aged 6 years, but I'll correct myself if I'm wrong. And I'm gonna compare it to this ECBP. So. Okay, so right away on the nose, I'm noticing that the small batch is significantly sweeter than the ECBP is. This one is definitely more of a dark, almost like tobacco-y note to it. This one definitely has a lot more fruit in it. Well, this one has a little bit more of that caramel peanut dust, almost like a peanut brittle. You can definitely smell the proof coming off of this one compared to this one. I mean, I have to stick my nose all the way in this glass just to get the notes that I'm just getting wafted in the face with on this glass. Oh yeah, definitely some sweet caramel here. More caramel on here than there is on here for sure. This is definitely more fruity, sweet, a lot less proof. But we're gonna see how it differs on the palate. Okay, so right away, obviously, I notice significantly thinner mouthfeel, not nearly as good. Super sweet, lots of fruit in here. The oak is, there, but it's not as sunken in as a 12-year cast strength whiskey, and it's a lot sweeter and, like I said, fruitier than this one. Viscous, great mouthfeel. It's almost like syrup in your mouth. And definitely comparing the two, I can tell this one definitely has a higher respect from my point of view. When I had it just by itself, I was a little bit disappointed almost at first. Not necessarily disappointed in the whiskey because it's great, but disappointed that it wasn't all that different from Heaven Hill's profile. But comparing it to the normal small batch, it definitely is more full-bodied, lots of flavor, warm. I mean, I'm still feeling the Kentucky hug on the way down. It's 120 proof. I mean, what do you expect? Imagine straight line, dead center of the road, Heaven Hill product at cask strength, but full-bodied ECBP. I mean, that's basically all I gotta say to it. That being said, it's time to give this ECBP a grade. And for those of you watching, don't be offended by this. I know that ECBPs aren't supposed to rank very low, but I really was expecting a little bit more of an oomph from it. It's great whiskey, especially if you love Heaven Hill's profile, which I do. I'm a huge fan of the small batch Elijah Craig just to drink on my free time when I don't want to think as much about whiskey. And this is definitely a hitter for sure. That being said, I'm gonna have to give this a B+. B+ because I got it for $70. That's a great price for whiskey this good. Comparing it to the other Elijah Craig barrel proofs, it leaves a little bit to be desired, only because I know how crazy and how extravagant they can get, and this is just baseline center of the road. So I'm not saying it's bad whiskey. I'm saying compared to the other ECBPs, it's a B+. It's good whiskey, great for the price, but you almost expected a little bit more from Elijah Craig. But that being said, leave a like on the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel, and let me know, have you guys even seen any of this A122 yet? Because I was surprised to find it so fast. I hadn't seen any other people's reviews on it or anything like that. I hadn't seen a lot of people getting it on Instagram or anything like that. So also stay tuned, because next week I'm going to be releasing a video on Larceny's Barrel Proof C921. I know you thought we might not get it, but it's here. I found a bottle and I paid enough for it. So I'm going to be doing a review on that for next week. But also, make sure you guys stay tuned for my Brothers Bond review. That was my whiskey of the year. It's going to be an epic review. You guys should definitely watch it. And if you like this video, like it, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you in the next glass.